Hi, and welcome to the Free Your Spirit podcast. I'm your guide, Carole Frey, founder of Free Spirited Wanderer, a conscious wellness business of yoga retreats, lifestyle coaching, and yoga teacher mentorship. In this podcast, we explore conscious business, yoga on and off the mat, and general lifestyle. Our aim is to help you live a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Whether you're an entrepreneur, yoga student, yoga teacher, or simply someone looking to make positive changes in your daily life. Join us as we share insights, tips, and stories to inspire you on your path to a more free-spirited life. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, adventure, and expansion. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Free Your Spirit podcast. I'm your host, Carole Frey. Welcome to this week's episode. We are talking about why Savasana is the most important yoga asana. And if you are unfamiliar, so Savasana translates to corpse pose, and this is our final resting posture. This is how we finish all of our yoga asana classes, and we do this by lying down on our back with our feet hips distance apart, our hands by our side, just taking up space and finding stillness. This is a practice where we get to relax the entire body and begin to let go of some of the tension that we're still holding on to that wasn't fully released from the yoga practice. And this is also considered the most advanced yoga asana. And, so many people see this as just taking a nap, or they love this part because they get to lie down and rest, which, yes, it's amazing. But, it's funny because when I first started teaching, so many people loved making jokes and they were like, oh, what's that posture where you lie down on your back? And I was like, Savasana. And they were like, yeah, I love that one. I can do that one. And there was always a part of me that was like, but can you really? Because I don't think people really understand what it is. And it's not just lying down on your back, and it's not just taking a nap. And the reason this is the most advanced posture is because you are required to be completely still and present. And if you ever have tried Savasana before, or you've ever tried sitting in stillness and silence, you know that it is not easy to do. And it requires it's very advanced, right? It requires a lot of us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So this practice is something that it's just extremely important. And in the West, our Western world within, our yoga practices here, this is often skipped. A lot of people leave before Shavasana. We've had people leave during Shavasana, and people just don't really have the understanding of why this is so important. So I just wanted to do a super quick episode and kind of talk about the basics of it and tap into this. So again, this is our part of the practice where we get to rest. And we think about, everything that we have done, right, through the yoga asana, the physical movement, the mental, work that we've done, again, emotional, spiritual. There's so much that we give ourselves through this yoga asana and every day in our life, right? We give and we give and we give, and we also do. And that is what that physical practice does. And it's amazing. We need that. It's how we strengthen the body. We find more flexibility. We cleanse the body. So many other amazing, important, characteristics of the physical yoga practice. But the Shavasana at the end, this time of deep, deep relaxation and stillness, this is the part of practice where we get to rest, to receive, and to simply just be. It's really a practice of integration. And the way that I always, explain this when I do talk about this within my yoga classes and kind of touch on why it is so important, think about, again, how much you gave yourself and what you gave yourself. And through this integration process, we allow ourselves to receive everything we just gave. And, I've thought about this so much because the way it has really, landed with me is, why am I going to give myself something that I'm not going to fully receive? So I kind of see this as if I were to just do the yoga asana and get up and leave and not take that time of rest, that relaxation, that integration, Am I fully receiving the benefits of the practice? Am I fully, embodying yoga for what it is? Or is it being treated just as a workout and something just for the physical body? And again, in the West, you'll see this a lot of people leaving before Shavasana or leaving in the middle. And, from my understanding, when I've had conversations with people after that have left in the middle of Shavasana, they hadn't had an understanding of what Shavasana was, of how sacred of a period this is and how much the body really needs this. So there is definitely a lack of understanding around why this is so important. But that's one of the ways I like to talk about it is, why are you going to give yourself something that you're not going to fully receive? And the physical practice as well, again, so it's the giving, the doing, the achieving. These are all masculine energies, and we need this masculine energy. This is how we get things done in life. This is how we accomplish our goals and live out our dreams and take action. But we also need this feminine energy as well. And that feminine energy is the relaxation. It's the rest, the integration, the ability to just be. And it's really like that full presence, right? When you can just bask in that and bask in that present moment. And there's just something really, really beautiful about it. And, so within this integration, basically you're providing your body and your mind, first of all, gratitude for everything that it's done. You're saying, thank you, body, thank you, mind, for everything you've done, everything you do for me on a daily basis. And I'm going to appreciate you and show you my gratitude by allowing you to rest. And this is not something that we're praised for within society, especially in this Western hustle culture. And it's definitely getting a little bit better, but we're not praised for rest. No one, when I was growing up, no one really talked about rest besides sleep. But there's so much, so many other ways that we need to find rest within our lives. And a lot of us are exhausted. We're tired. We're moving around, burnt out, fatigued, stressed out. So we need this rest to come back to this equilibrium, to find balance, to really calm the nervous system as well, to find more grounding, and just to really come back home to us, to truth, to presence. And what happens when you start to find this Shavasana and you allow yourself to rest in this position and to stay there, there's this integration period. So, we have the teachings, the lessons, the sensations, the practice. And as we find this stillness, we kind of give ourselves time to filter through all of this, to start to see, what does this mean for me and my life? And integration is becoming something, right? So again, we move through everything that just happened in this yoga asana, and we get to choose what we wish to make a part of us. What do we want to embody? What did we learn? What would we like to take in? And that is a process we can find through this rest. And now on the other side of it, we also have this time to think about what is no longer serving me. What do I need to let go of in my life to create space for something new? And Shavasana provides time for this to happen. And it's something that kind of happens naturally, as I say and tell people, you don't need to be lying in Shavasana thinking about this the whole time. But what happens is when we find this stillness and this silence, magic happens in the stillness and the silence. And this is where we can start to hear our own voice, our inner wisdom, our teacher. And we can hear that voice so clearly. It becomes so present, so powerful, that then we want to take action from that inner guidance, right? So we have this clear direction of where we want to go, simply because we've taken the time to find the silence and the stillness to hear this voice. And, think about this, how often you move through your life and you have so many people, coming at you all the time with different ideas, opinions, asking you to do things, to help them with things, all areas of our life. So there's so much noise, right? And then you have news and social media, music, podcasts, books, right? All these things, which are beautiful, but we take in so much every day. And then we're constantly taking all of these things in. Sometimes our own voice, our own teacher gets clouded. And then we have a hard time learning how to listen, or like building, I guess, the techniques or tools to discover how to listen. Because when it comes down to it, our voice is what really matters, right? Like our voice needs to be the loudest. And when we have this stillness and silence, that voice can become more present, more powerful. So that's just one of the many things that happens. And for me, when I'm in the Shavasana, this time of rest, oh my gosh, I've had so many breakthroughs that have happened, so many downloads, so many ideas. A lot of things that I do today within my business, the path that I'm on, have really come to me through Shavasana. And it's so powerful. It is, because I've just started to realize that rather than, trying to do more, to study more, to read more, to listen to more, it's actually taking that time to step away from that outer world so I can connect back to my own inner world. And that, again, is a practice through Shavasana. Yeah, and there's just like so much beauty in that. And I hope you take a moment to like let that soak in. So the first thing here, I guess one of the ways, again, I'm explaining the Shavasana is this integration period to just be and be present and allow yourself to relax. And this is actually, how I learned this years ago is that, the reason why Yoga Asana was even created, or one of the main reasons, was so we could sit in meditation longer and be in Shavasana longer. And again, think about when you are trying to be in Shavasana, and if you have pain in your back or your hips, you feel tightness or the mind is all over the place, it's really hard to be in that stillness, right? A lot of new students that come in really struggle with this because they haven't learned, those techniques yet of how to still the mind, to quiet the mind and still the body. So, this is a practice that comes from over time, but as we do this yoga asana, it strengthens the body. It brings more flexibility. We detoxify and cleanse the body. And the mind also learns how to become more present through the practice of the breath and the connection with this physical movement. So, we do all of this so we can release some of the tension and some of the pain that we store mentally and physically. And as we release some of that, we're able to sit in that Shavasana longer. When I've had those like really, challenging but cleansing practices, I have some of the best, the best Shavasana I've ever had, because my body knows it's done its work for the day. It knows it's done its part, like what it needed to do. Same with my mind and my breath. So it's kind of having that knowing that, okay, now I'm safe to rest. I did the work that I needed to do and wanted to do for myself. And now I can bask in this. I can be present in this to soak it all up and to feel this. So there is an element of feeling safe to rest as well. But yeah, that's how I learned this, is that why this yoga asana was created was so we could sit in meditation longer and be still in Shavasana longer without some of the pain that we have physically and mentally. And again, this is why the Shavasana is an advanced posture, because it does require stillness and deep presence. And as we all know, this can be very, very challenging. And, there's different techniques in Shavasana as well. Sometimes you can repeat different mantras on the inhales or exhales. You can focus on different parts of the body. You can do different breathing practices, or you can just allow yourself to just be there and just kind of watch the breath. So there are some more like advanced techniques that you can take in Shavasana. But I wanted to come on and talk about this just, quickly because, or not quickly, not rushed, but just, a short little episode, just as a reminder of why Shavasana is important and why it is in fact an advanced posture. And maybe just to give a little bit more insight on why it's important, why you should stay into Shavasana. And, typically I was also taught that you do Shavasana for a minimum of 7 minutes. And oftentimes too, especially in these Western classes and especially in the hot power yoga classes, Shavasana is like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's not enough time to rejuvenate and rest. And that also just continues to factor into this hustle culture, into the do, the go, only focusing on the physical part, where we don't really get to access that spiritual layer as well. And this is one of the reasons, we practice yoga, at least at some point. We plant this little seed through the yoga asana and we start to learn more and we feel more. And we get into this like deep spiritual layer where we get to meet our true self. We get to know ourselves as we start to clear away some of the clutter from the mind and some of the other chaos. And yes, it's just like this beautiful spiritual practice. And for me, Shavasana just really helps me land all of that. It reminds me what's important within my life, why I'm doing these things, why I'm showing up. And it's also taught me again to feel safe to rest, which has been challenging for me at times. I grew up as a soccer player, track runner, whatever you call them. And, as an athlete, so I was always on the go, always doing things, always accomplishing. And I love big goals. I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. So there is a lot of go, go, go. And I really, really cherish that Shavasana. I cherish that rest because it's what I need. And it's what brings me this balance and this harmony. And again, it's where these breakthroughs come through. And I don't think I would be where I am today in life. I wouldn't have the stamina or the endurance or the resiliency that I do have today without that Shavasana, without that period of learning how to listen for my own inner voice and to take that wisdom as my guidance and to literally just allow my physical body to rest and to let go of some of the tension that it's holding on to. And one of the things I love, one of my teachers, Rod Spreaker, has said this, and it's, the more you, the more you allow yourself to let go, the more held you will feel. So the more you allow yourself to surrender or let go, the more held you will feel. And there's a lot of beauty in that. And it's something that I remind myself as well when I get into that Shavasana and like noticing when I really do surrender, I feel held, I feel nourished, I feel supported. And that's a really, really beautiful feeling as well. So again, I just wanted to share this of why Shavasana is so powerful, why you shouldn't skip Shavasana, why you should, build the tools to be able to sit here longer and to quiet the mind and to learn how to take that guidance into your life. Like it will literally guide you. It will show you the direction that you need to go on and that you want to go on. It will give you the answers and so many other, again, wonderful benefits. There's always so many ways I feel like I can take these topics, especially within yoga, because there's so many different lineages, different backgrounds, teachers, philosophies. Again, there's always ways that you can advance the yoga practice as well. But yeah, this is just like a way I thought I could come on and explain this. And just so you know that it's important and like make it important and remember that you are important and that you deserve this rest. You just deserve it. So remember that within your days and give yourself this time, even if it's before sleep, even if you didn't do a yoga asana practice, just give yourself that time, maybe first thing in the morning, right before bed. You don't have to do, a physical yoga practice to do this Shavasana, but again, doing some of that movement will help you probably be more still and to keep the mind more present. So I highly recommend, making this an important part of your practice. Try to stay there for that long time. If you do this on your own, try for a minimum of 5 minutes up to 7. Maybe take time to journal after, see what comes up for you. Notice the breakthroughs, the downloads, the insights, the guidance that you receive, and take that into your life. And yeah, it's just such an important topic, and I love Shavasana, and it's something that I just wanted to share with all of you, whether you are not familiar with Shavasana, whether you are familiar but didn't, maybe know how powerful it was. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that insight. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you ever have questions on something or you want to give me, comments, feedback, I'd love to hear them. Connect with me on Instagram or email. You have both of those in the show notes. Make sure to check out our upcoming retreats that we have. We have one left in 2023, Nepal, September 19th to the 29th. This is really a great retreat if you do want to start to integrate a lot of this work to dive a little bit deeper into yoga as a whole, to come back to the roots of yoga. And yes, I'm really, really excited. If you haven't heard, it's also the same exact place that I did my teacher training, my first 200-hour teacher training in 2014. So I'm really honored to be bringing a group back as well. We still have 5 spots left, so I'd love to have you. If you have questions, again, let me know. And we also have 7 retreats in 2024. It's our biggest year yet. We're really, really excited. And I also have my Fill Your Cup mini course going on right now. It's a self-paced course of guided practices. And these will help you move through your days with more love, more purpose, and more connection. And I also have the yoga teacher mentorship going on right now as well for yoga teachers that want to start or expand their conscious wellness business. And I have these feminine leadership sessions going on as well. These are one-on-one strategy sessions where we get to dive into any area of your life that needs tending to, and to give you like a really solid strategy that will help you figure out that direction that you need to go and want to go in life. So we have a lot of amazing offerings. I just love all of them. I'm so excited to share, yoga and Ayurveda and just these lifestyle practices with you. It just lights me up inside. They're just transformational and just have brought so much goodness into my life. And I feel very blessed and honored that I get to share these with other people in hopes of also helping them to live their most meaningful and fulfilling life. So join me for one of these offerings. If you have questions, let me know. Connect with me on Instagram or email. And thank you so much for listening as always. Until next week, keep showing up as your truest, most authentic self.